Hi everyone, Pastor Craig here, and this is Devotions with the Pastor today, where I just kind of take you on a journey into my own personal spiritual life and journey with Scripture. And so today I want to look at Luke 17. I've been in Luke for quite a long time, and talk about a passage that kind of speaks to me in my own journey in the last year. It's found in Luke 17, beginning at verse 11. It's called sometimes the 10 leopards that are healed. Some folks that have leprosy. Let me just read it to you. Beginning verse 11. Now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled among the borders between Samaria and Galilee. Okay, as he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance, like they were supposed to do, and called out to him, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." Probably not just once, probably repeated, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." They were looking for him to do something for them. When he saw them, he said, "Go show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. So they started towards the priests before they were even cleansed. They kind of took the step of faith to follow Jesus. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back praising God in a loud voice. So he's shouting. He threw himself at Jesus' feet, get that image, and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan, okay, which the Jews hated. Jesus asked him, "Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner?" Then he said to them, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you well." So there's a couple of things I think about that are interesting to me. One of them is that as someone who God has healed, this kind of hits home with me, the importance of thanking God for what he has done in our lives, and giving praise to him. I think it's easy sometimes after a while to think, well, everybody's heard that and I don't want to go too far with that. But there's a certain sense in which I think I probably need to err on the side of going too far and irritating people than the other side of not adequately giving God praise for what he did in healing my cancer. And that's a big deal, to thank God for what he does. And so we should just always be a people that are full of gratitude. We need to share the stories of what God has done more than we really do. In fact, we're going to start a teaching series this Sunday about Jesus' parables, and it's all about story, and Jesus told stories all the time. The other thing that I think is a little striking about this is the one person who got it was a foreigner, was a Samaritan, was someone whose spirituality would have seemed weird to most of the Jews. And that's always a reminder to me that I certainly have a way of connecting to God, and we do in our particular tradition. But there are other groups that do it very, very differently. And they connect to God too. And sometimes they make me a little uncomfortable, but they do. If you've ever gone to like really high church, that's especially before I received a theological education, that would make me a little, I didn't know what was going on. It's like, this is kind of weird, Or when I moved to Kansas City and I attended African American churches, and they rock the house, man. And there's this different style of preaching and all of that. And I was like, this is kind of strange. I don't know about this, And that's just people that feel strange. For Samaritans, they were people who most Jews really thought were sinners and lost. And so just to keep our hearts open to how God moves in different people in different ways. Give thanks and keep your heart open. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you Sunday.